Thank you so much to Morgan's Wonderland Camp for inviting us out.
Throughout the past summer months, Morgan's Wonderland Camp has welcomed other campers to partner camps. Those have been incredibly successful. We wanted to start off really small and slow to make sure we got all the things just right before we went public today. Even though we started off small, we have seen over 1,000 people through the camp. We've had incredible success with the camp. And I want to say that none of that would be possible if it wasn't for the incredible staff here and the people who help put everything together. You know, when you work at a camp, you work 24/7. You really have no breaks. And so I want to tell you, the people who work here, who are passionate about Morgan's Wonderland Camp, we deeply appreciate it. You're on 102 acres. We had to put 3 different pieces of property together to bring about Morgan's Wonderland Camp, an ultra-accessible facility of 20 major elements. As you go around the camp today, you will see quite a few different elements all engaged and learn as to how we're going to build them. From talking to people who are caregivers, parents, uncles, aunts, those with special needs, to learn how to build this camp. That's how we built Morgan's Wonderland. That's how we built Morgan's Spring Mountain. That's how we built Morgan's Wonderland Sports. We bring everybody together to learn how to go about what we do. There are 42 vertical improvements on the 102 acres. If you were to add up all the square footage of those 42 vertical facilities, you would have just about 5 acres of covered space. So you can see it's a big camp with a whole lot going on. I want to mention to you 2 key, there's a lot of things that you'll see on the tour, but there's 2 things in particular. One is the zip line. We have 2 11-story zip lines, and most zip lines start up high and come down. This one, you start at the ground, you go up 11 stories, and you can come back. The reason it was built that way is to accommodate those who maybe always wanted to go on a zip line but couldn't, because either they were on a breathing apparatus, they were on oxygen, they were in a wheelchair, they had visual impairment, whatever the case may be. And maybe before people said, well, maybe you can't do that. Well, at Morgan's Wonderland, everybody can do everything. We're ultra accessible, fully inclusive. So you will see the first type of zip line actually built to allow for that to occur. Someone in a wheelchair can go on our zip line. This is the first time that's ever been developed. Actually, the mechanics of this understands how to slow down as well to ensure that the person who's in a wheelchair, who may have some physical special needs, will not affect them in a negative fashion. Also, we have a challenge course that allows for someone who either has cognitive issues or has other issues, maybe visual impairment, or is in a wheelchair, to actually be able to enjoy the challenge course at 22 feet above the ground in a wheelchair. That's never been done before either. You know, Morgan's Wonderland is about doing things that have never been done before. You'll see our pneumatic wheelchairs, which are here, which are wheelchairs that can go underwater and still operate. So that's what we're about, getting outside the box to ensure what we do is possible for everyone in the community, not just a certain percentage. Also, you will see 4 major aquatic elements. There's a warm pool, a large activity pool. We have a beachfront access pool, so somebody in a wheelchair can get in easily. We have a relaxing river, and we also have a splash pad. All these different things, again, produce an understanding of what the needs were of everybody. You will also see a whole new stable that has been built that holds horses. We have 14 different horses out here of all sizes, even large horses, so that people who have never been on a horse before have an easy access to get onto a larger horse versus a smaller horse. So all these things have been taken into account, and you will see all this on the tour. You will see a paved bike path that goes almost a mile. But it's not just for bikes, but it's also what we refer to as a walk and roll path. People in wheelchairs, wide enough so if 2 people in wheelchairs are going together, they go side by side versus front and back. Little details that make a true difference. We also have a 4,500 square foot medical facility, doctor's facility, nurses facility, nurses station, 10 different areas where people who may be sick can stay isolated. The reason that was built and up to the level of 4,500 square feet is because we offer people with the most acute special needs to join us here at Morgan's Wonderland. we have to make sure we have everything we need to be able to accommodate everyone who wants to come here. You will also see 20 cabins. If you were to add all those cabins together, you would see over 500 beds. So we can accommodate, and actually if you take all the beds in this entire camp, it's well over 600 beds. So this is a big camp to allow for many people to enjoy. Another thing also, we talk about ultra accessibility, and what does that really mean? And many times when you look at ADA goes to a certain level and does a lot to ensure for our friends with special needs. But ultra accessibility goes to a whole nother level. For example, out here, even in the topography that we had to work with, we made sure that everything did not exceed 5% in slope for any areas of transportation from one place to another, from the standpoint of sidewalks, etc. Most ADA is of 8.1% slope. And the reason is that makes it much more comfortable for people in wheelchairs to enjoy. So Morgan's Wonderland started, as I mentioned, back in 2010 through the inspiration of my daughter and Morgan. Magna and I are so proud of what Morgan has offered us. Morgan deals with cognitive special needs and some physical special needs, but she's truly an inspiration to what we do. And this has all been made possible because she is a prime example of excitement when it comes to camps. She has been to other camps before, Morgan has been, but the thing about when she went to camp, we didn't tell her she was going to camp for about 10 minutes before because she was driving mom and dad crazy. Just wanted to know, when are we going, when are we going? And that's a part of the inspiration, I think, in us saying that brought about the fact that there was really a true need. There is a demand for camps like this. A demand in particular for camps that you're here at, because if you were to call 10 camps, you would get probably 9 or 8 of those that would put restrictions on people, either by age, by ability, by cost, would be too expensive. We try to bring those barriers and remove all those barriers here at Morgan's Wonderland Camp. And so we're very passionate about what we do. And we want to thank all the people who came together over the 18 months that we spent before we actually started construction and helping us. Those are caregivers, grandparents, who, as I mentioned, helped develop exactly what we put together. Now, as I mentioned earlier, this is a $34 million camp. There's a lot to see here. But I have to tell you this, and with utmost gratitude and thanks. We need to give a special thank you to Valero Energy. Valero came together very early on this with Joe Border, their CEO, met and said, we want to make one of the largest single contributions that Valero has ever made. So they made a contribution of $15 million to get this process started. And so I give them thanks because of them. We are here now versus later. We're here now to help our friends with special needs because of the Valero Energy Corporation. And then you look at Joe and Lacey and how they gave additional money themselves personally, and also Bill Plessy, who's the former CEO of Valero Energy. Combined between both of them, they gave another $5 million towards helping us build Morgan's Wonderland Camp. So, you know, when we talk about inclusion, we also talk about the power of partnership. We're all about collaboration here. We're all about bringing people together and inclusion. And so we're not just a camp, we are also some other things as well. We are also one of the kitchens for the food bank. Early on in this process, the food bank was looking to build a kitchen out north. And so instead of building a separate one and spending money on it, we said we will expand our kitchen so that we can accommodate you guys being able to deal with food insecurities of those on the north side of San Antonio. So that 4,000 square foot kitchen back there you will be able to visit is the food bank kitchen. They also will feed our campers as well. The Edwards Aquifer Authority has also built a $2.5 million, 9,000 square foot building out here that will be used to educate the public, campers, and through our community-based instruction to be able to assist in explaining to people exactly the importance of the Edwards Aquifer. And they are building that. The facility itself is built and making the final touches on it so that they can open it the latter part of this year or early part of next year. And then, of course, we also have the substation now for the Sheriff's Office. And the reason that was so important is before the Sheriff's Office had a facility on the west side and on the east side, but in the north central side, the north central area of the county, they did not have a substation. So in talking with the sheriff, we said, well, why don't you come over to Morgan's Wonderland camp have a substation, so we're also a substation as well. That works for them, and also it brings a lot of security for everything that we do here. So please keep in mind, we're only 20 minutes away from everything that's happening over at Morgan's Wonderland. We're very, very close. We are all about inclusion. We are proud of the fact that in 2015, the city of San Antonio decided to add to the description of San Antonio by making it an inclusive city USA. Next month, again, the city is, or actually in a couple of weeks, the city will reinstate their desire to tell everyone about we are Inclusion City USA. And so I want to thank everyone for making this possible, for making today possible. There are so many people behind the scenes who have made this all possible. So thanks again for coming out.
All right, this is Jessica and Sarah. They are the camp peeps, so they're going to keep a tour and explain everything to you about what you're seeing and why you're seeing it. So take it away, guys.
Well, welcome to our courtyard. So got a great dining hall space that each came out of in our welcome center. And this courtyard was built to also be a great event space, if you will. So you have an indoor-outdoor feel. This summer, when we had campers here, sometimes when they were overstimulated with the noise and chaos that was happening inside, this is a great quiet space. There's also a lot of games and that kind of fun stuff. But for the events, we've got some big uplighting, and it's just a nice, good, free-flowing space. These two buildings you see behind us were original to this side of the property, and so we just converted them to two different things. So this was a 3-car garage with a little apartment inside, but down here is now a camp store. So we sell t-shirts, mugs, that kind of fun stuff. And then, like Gordon talked about earlier with our partnership, that's where the Bexar County Sheriff's Office substation is housed out of on the top floor. And then Sarah will talk about what's coming.
Yeah, so then behind us, which we're actually going to shift this way in just a minute, but behind us is Junction Station, which is our medical facility. And so this was actually the original house on this side of the property, as well as kind of like a mother-in-law suite that they built on the side. But so, like Gordon was talking about, this was one of the existing things that we had here, and we kind of gutted it and then made it into our medical center. So we're all going to shift in there so that you guys can see what we did.
Hello. Okay, Dave, watch out. There's a lip. There we go.
Plenty of room. Come on in.
All throughout the lobby.
Okay, so this is Junction Station, like I was saying. We named it that because it's really the hub of everything that kind of happens at camp. And you'll notice kind of a theme as we go around camp is that everything is kind of a blank slate, and that's because of all of the different groups we serve as well as events and those kinds of things. We want everyone who comes to Morgan's Wonderland Camp to kind of make it their own. So like we said, this was the original house on this side of the property, but now it can house whoever. So there are 9 different bedrooms throughout. There's 2 up front, and then the rest kind of go that way. Each bedroom has a bunk bed and a single twin in it. And so more often than not, our groups incoming, this is where their nurses and doctors stay overnight, but this could also be anyone else that a group needs to kind of hang out in here. We also wanted to make sure that this wasn't really like a hospital feel. A lot of our campers grow up in hospitals, and so when they come to camp, we don't want to remind them that, hey, you're somebody who needs to go to the hospital frequently. So this is just a blank canvas for them. One of our favorite pieces of this building is this room right here. It's a little, well, it's not small, but you'll see when you come in, so everyone can kind of cycle through here, but this is our med room. And when you go in, you'll be able to see there are hundreds of cabinets in there, and that's specifically because a lot of our campers have so many different medications. So when they come to camp, they really
Feel free to walk through.
yeah.
Go ahead.
They need a place to store all of those medications because sometimes our campers are on like 20 different medications, and as you might know, you have to bring the original prescription bottles and all of that, which takes up a lot of room. So there's a lot of shelving in there, 2 medical, meds only fridges, as well as access control, so that whenever a group is incoming, you can put your logs to their medical directly with that. And feel free to kind of wander around this whole area and see the bedrooms. We also have a little office area, so if there needs to be like private patient phone calls happening with parents, they can do that as well. And that room is also access controlled.
Pretty cool, isn't it? So next after this, we are all going to hop on the people mover, and we're going to take you down to the gymnasium and arts and crafts and the pools. And I will point out, as you're coming over here, this is our amphitheater. And over here is a giant butterfly fire pit for s'mores and fires. And from the air, it looks like our Morgan's Wonderland giant butterfly.
All right, you guys, feel free to
Come on in.
It's a little steep.
Need a hand or anything just now?
You're gonna want to go on this tour.
Yeah, you're not gonna want to miss the ride.
Yeah, but we're just getting to the good stuff now.
We're not.
jump out
Need
of
to
the way.
take a second one we
both,
can.
or-
Do we need both? I think we'll probably just
We
go.
could.
We just pulled up in case.
Okay.
We'll load everyone in this one and then see what we're working with.
I think we can all be able to get up there, but if not,
You want to know if you need a hand? Sure. Which number? Sure.
Woo! Nice. Thank y'all so much for helping.
Yeah, it's a little steep.
Ooh, it is steep.
It's steeper than it looks.
Yes. We're on the people mover.
These were specially built for us, by the way. Custom made for the camp.
Wide enough for a
You know,
wheelchair.
both sides.
Yeah, exactly.
So everyone, this is the program manager. So he is in charge of all of the programs and activities that we do at camp. So he's going to talk a little bit about the gym.
Sure, so this is the Corey Field House. It's where we do most of our sports activities. As you can see, we can do wheelchair sports, traditional sports, whether it's basketball, pickleball, kind of you name it, we can do it in here. We also use this area as a secondary event space. We can do dances for our campers in the evenings. We can do carnivals, movie nights. It's just a great multi-use facility in this area.
And as you can tell, it's air conditioned, so it's temperature controlled. And if we have beautiful days like yesterday, all of these open up, and so you can either have beautiful air coming in, or you can close it down to turn the AC on. So that is another strategy.
You're in charge of activities.
All right, here is Maggie's studio. This is the arts and crafts room.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. It's chilly in here too. Might be because I got rained on.
Well, you know, Central, first, Morgan's Wonderland, which is a theme park.
All right, welcome to Maggie's studio. This is our arts and crafts facility for camp. You can see big open facilities so that we can host any number of campers. If they're using chairs, there's plenty of room to work around the tables without kind of getting bogged down between chairs that are sticking on, that sort of thing. We can do really any kind of arts and crafts we can think of, whether we're making dioramas or doing painting projects or any of that. That can all be done in this facility. All of our tables have these the power hookups, so that if we're using hot glue guns or anything like that, we can do that at the table. So we don't have to move around to different stations in this room. You can do it at your actual table and not have to kind of work through everybody else. Also in this room, there's a few other rooms in the back here. On the far right is our photography studio. We do digital photography, and then there's basically a bunch of computers in there that campers can then upload their pictures and edit them to then print out and take home with them. We also have a library right next door for those campers that need a little quiet time, or they're just like, hey, I love to read. We want to be able to give them that activity as well. And then over here is just some storage facilities for all of the arts and crafts supplies that it takes to run a camp, which is a lot. So yeah, take a look around and we'll open up these rooms and stuff as well.
Yeah. So all of these books are donated by community members, and so if you know of anyone looking to donate books, we do accept them.
And how can someone donate books?
Go to our website, morganswonderlandcamp.com, and click on information and send an email. And we'll inquire about
Awesome,
it.
thank you. What can we do?
and we're gonna meet the people who are over there.
We have 4 different water, attractions here. We have our splash pad over here. You'll see kind of a water tower-ish thing. Water comes out of the top, it comes up out of the ground and sprays, so that if you're not comfortable getting in the water, submerging in the water, you can still experience a water feature. The small pool over on the far side over here is our heated pool. It helps individuals with temperature sensitivities especially, but it is also just really relaxing. It's basically a big hot tub without the jets coming out, you know. It does not have a beachfront entry, but it does have a lift available for our campers to use so that they can get in and out of the pool even if they are utilizing a chair or they can't go up and down the stairs. This big pool is our main pool. It does have this 0 depth entry or beachfront entry, and that continues all the way around to the 9 feet over here. There are a few steps here, but there is a ramp with a rail that goes all the way around so that a camper that is utilizing a chair, for instance our pneumatic chair, or that needs a little bit of that support can go all the way around without having to go down steps and can come all the way over to the deep end if they would like. The last element is our relaxing river over here. It also has that 0 depth entry so that you can roll down into it or walk down into it and then float around on an inner tube and relax and just kind of enjoy the day. Brooke's going to tell you a little bit more about the pneumatic chair.
So the pneumatic chair is a powered chair that's 100% completely based off of air. It's a beta testing chair. There's 11 in the world. There's 10 of them here at Morgan's Inspiration Island and Morgan's Wonderland Camp. What's unique about this chair is that it can be completely submergible, and so if you have an individual that obviously electricity and water don't go well together, right? So somebody in a power chair with a more complex disability needs to get into the water and they want to maintain their independence, they can transfer over to this chair and they can utilize this 0 entry pool, which is very unique to a lot of pools too, to maintain that accessibility and independence. Mario, you're welcome to get into that
This is
pool.
Mario.
This is Mario. He's one of our straps athletes as well as one of our ambassador athletes. He's a big mentor for our kiddos and for our other athletes joining our program. And he's checking out the pneumatic chair, utilizing. You can see that it's 100% submergible. So it's based off of 2 air tanks.
Wow.
How's the water, Mario? How's the water?
Mario can now choose his independence, whether he chills out and sits in his chair at a nice deep waist level, deep depth, or he can continue down this ramp that goes all the way down to the 3 feet, and he can transfer out of his chair and be independent. So there's options at this point, and that's what makes us unique, is that we provide these different options to try to maximize your independence.
Mario, talk about how easy or hard it is to operate.
Well, it's pretty easy. I mean, it's a little sensitive, but other than that, I mean, it moves pretty well. I mean, I don't see no trouble with it. I like it. It's a pretty cool thing. All right.
It's beyond the double. Beyond the double blue line.
That's where it gets deeper.
With the code,
You can keep going.
So it goes, it's a 0 entry, and then that part of it's 3 feet, and so those stairs, there's 2 stairs, so if you wanted to walk all the way down instead of using stairs, so there's 2 different options. Because you can also sit on those stairs and still be in, right, so it can kind of become like a spa type situation. Yeah. He's like, I'm getting out of this.
Wow, in reverse too. That's impressive. Thank you, Mario.
You're good, Mario.
All right, let's get back on the people mover. Now we're going to the other side. From the sky.
Oh, look, there's the horses.
There's the horsies. There's the And then people ride on their back.
Well, right, yeah. Are you going to talk about the
They didn't really want to. This giant arena, if you look, you'll see there's a ramp that's built right there. That is so an individual in a wheelchair can actually get on the same level as the horse and easily mount the horse for
Wow,
riding around.
so cool.
We talked about the Edwards Aqua Authority building. This is the building over here, and they are currently finishing it out, I guess you would say.
Yeah, we're doing the inside finish up, tenant improvements.
Behind this is an archery. What do you call it? What is that? The term?
Range.
Ding, ding, ding. That was good. It's the archery range.
Challenge course here at Morgan's Wonderland Camp. There's a couple different elements that you'll see out here. The one you're looking at right now is one of our 4 climbing walls. 2 of them have the slant on them and 2 of them are vertical. It gives our campers a number of options to climb. We also have a variety of harnesses that we can use to help them get up the wall. So that even if you are using a chair, you can get up the wall. We can we have certain harnesses that support you in different ways, and we can also use different belay techniques in order to assist in your climb as well. You can be completely independent. You could use just your arms, just your legs, however you most feel comfortable and want to do it. The other elements that you'll see out here is our Fort Challenge course. That's going to be these 4 towers back here to our kind of left. There is a ramp that goes all the way up, and that's how everybody accesses that portion of the course. So whether you're in a wheelchair or not, you can get up there. On that challenge course, there's 2 different tracks. There's a more traditional track where you might be swinging from rope to rope, and then there's another track right next to it that is custom built so that you can use a wheelchair on it. So you can still stay in your chair and be able to traverse 22 feet above the ground, right next to your friend that uses a more traditional track. to get around our course so that you can do things side by side like most campers have never done before. This is, like Gordon said in his opening remarks, the first of its kind. Hopefully not the last of its kind. We want this to be at every challenge course we have. This is Tyler. Tyler is our one of our program supervisors. He also oversees all of our challenge course operations, and he can give you a little more information about the different harnesses we use, the different equipment we use to help adapt our activities to our campers' needs.
Good. Do we have any questions or anything right now?
Can you explain the pulley system thing, how that works?
Yeah, so right now we have multiple...
And explain about Devin and why he needs it.
Okay, we have multiple belay systems. David, one raised his hand, is on what is called an auto belay system. Basically, there is no one on the other end of the rope. There's a mechanical device at the top that, as it is weighted, actually slows down the descent of whoever is climbing. So it kind of gives them the ability to go at their own pace, come down when they need to. You could probably see how this might be a little bit harder for someone who is climbing just with like their arms. If they need to take a break, they can't really do that because if they let go, they're going to end up back at the bottom, defeats progress. Right now, Devin is actually on a traditional belay, which you'll see a lot of rock climbers use. The rope is running through a single pulley up top, which allows for a reduction of the weight whenever Devin weights the rope, so that the person holding him on the other end is able to keep him secure. We also have Ross on the other end. Is probably not going to be outweighed by Devin, but he is also able to assist Devin with that type of belay system. He can walk backwards or pull on the rope and give Devin a little bit of take on some of that weight for Devin's arms. So as Devin pulls up, he's not having to pull his whole body weight.
Wasn't this created specifically for this? I mean, for Morgan's Wonderland Camp? I mean, this is pretty revolutionary.
Yes, yeah, definitely. Another option that really is not used anywhere else, to my knowledge, is using a 4-to-1 system, which is the exact system he's on, but with 4 pulleys. So that is going to take off even more weight of that person. They have brake systems built in place as well, so you can actually climb on your own, pull your own weight up if you want. We can set it up where you don't even use the rocks. They can use the rope itself. Let's say they are missing a hand, they can't grip the wall. We have rope ascenders, which are able to grab the other end of that rope that they're attached to, and they can pull themselves up, and we can attach that to their arm or their elbow or any way they need to for them to pull their weight down, and that will then pull them up.
And Devin's been with us for a while. You want to tell us a little bit about Devin?
Sure. Devin has spina bifida. He and his brother were out here, I believe it was in late March. When we filmed for the Valero commercial, and so he has seen this before and is attempting it again. Some other things we can use on this wall are different adaptive harnesses. They vary based on the person's core stability. The more stable, the more upright they can keep themselves, we'll put them in what's called an arc harness, which is what is most widely known as an adaptive harness in the ropes course world. There is nothing else on the market currently labeled as an adaptive harness other than an arc harness. Here we're potentially hoping to change that. We do have some other harnesses that we have used based on our knowledge and the industry standards to kind of not blur the lines, that's not the right word. Bridge the gap, there it is. Bridge the gap and take like a zip line seat harness and turn it into a more bucket seat style climbing harness. Again, it's all based on the climber's core stability, how far they need to be leaned back or how much they need to be supported.
So there is a harness for somebody in the seated position.
Yes, we have multiple. Right now we have 3 different kinds. One of them we will see over on the giant swing. It sits a little further back to kind of hold someone, really kind of cocoon them in if they have minimal stability and can't really keep themselves upright in that harness.
Yes.
The arc harness keeps you in a pretty chair-like position, 90 degree. And then there's one that's kind of in between, which is actually a custom harness of ours that we have dubbed the Wonder Harness. It is a modified hang glider harness, so it tilts you back a little bit, but not quite as far as a bucket seat would. It also has the ability to, anyone that needs to carry medical equipment can do that in their harness. So we have a special bag that is zipped onto the back. It's removable, but it will carry anyone that's on a ventilator, oxygen tank, anything that they can't be off of for more than a few seconds at a time. They can go on all of these elements, as well as our zip line. We were able to work with Soaring Eagle and get those modifications to our zip line as well to allow for medical equipment.
Where's our zip line peeps?
They're over here.
Can I get closer?
So this is our zip line here at
Can I get
Wonderland
outside the
Camp. It is actually an amusement park ride that we're using as our zip line. So it is similar to what you see at some of the Six Flags facilities and that sort of thing. You'll see that there are 2 kind of captain's chairs racing seats. That's what traditionally comes on, and they usually use 2 lap belts that come across that buckle you in. They've got sensors in them so that you cannot operate this without being completely locked in and have all these safety measures in place. We worked with Soaring Eagle and we added a 5-point racing harness that you would see in a race car, and that allows us to support an individual that does not have as much core stability, so that there's not as much lean. We can use those in a variety of ways to make sure that they feel as comfortable as possible. And a lot of our campers that don't need that core stability really enjoy it because it's 5 more points of safety that they're like, hey, I feel snug and it's a little less scary when I'm really strapped in. The one here on our left is 450 feet long. The one on our right is 700 feet long, as Gordon said in his opening address. They both go 11 stories in the air. They'll come at 2 different speeds. We can set either one of them to either speed. There's a slower speed that when you get back down here to the bottom, it's like stopping nicely at a stop sign, looking both ways, all that, and then proceeding on. The other speed is a little more like there's a cop right there at that stoplight that just turned, you swear it was green a second ago and it just turned red, and so you're gonna hit the brakes. You don't want that ticket, right? So we can run these as 1 passenger or 2 passenger, and so that our campers can go with their friends. As Tyler was mentioning, we do have some adaptations to these as well to carry medical equipment. There is a sleeve right behind the chair that would be like the passenger seat in a car that can hold an oxygen tank. And then that silver box right above that chair as well can hold other medical devices such as a ventilator or something along those lines that you can't be disconnected from. We can also add in a head restraint, head support, that'll keep you if you don't have that head strength, that neck strength to support your own head. We can put on a head support. It looks similar to like what would be on a backboard, but it keeps your head from moving side to side, and so that you don't have that issue. And then finally, we also have removable foot supports, similar to those that are on a traditional wheelchair. They actually came from a wheelchair. And so we can snap those in and adjust the angle of them, the foot rest height, all of that, so that if you need that support for your feet, we can give you that.
How fast is the fastest speed? Miles an hour.
28 miles an hour, I believe.
Probably feels fast.
It feels a lot faster. And when you get up to the top, you're only sitting there for a second or 2. It feels like 3 or 4 minutes. Yes. As you can see on this one on the right, you can see the lights are on. We can do this completely at night in the dark, so that we can do night zip lining in the dark. When the lights are
Who would want to do that?
me. So when the lights are on, it's actually kind of a weird. You'd think it's opposite, but when the lights are on, you can't see anything around you. It's like pitch black. But when you shut the lights off, you can actually see for miles around. It's a very high point up there. You can see great views of all of San Antonio.
They have to be weighed?
Is
there a weight limit or something?
There is a weight limit. So there's an individual weight limit and a double weight limit. Just because when you do sit one person on one side and there's nobody else in it, you ride at a little bit of an angle. It's completely safe. It's completely enclosed, but there is a weight limit on those. You'll see there's an in-ground scale over there on the right, and then on the left, that little metal plate is an in-ground scale, so that we can make sure that we're in those weight limits. The scales actually light up.
You can move it if you want,
depending on whether
you can move
within that weight limit or not.
I like the personal touch with the butterfly.
Yep.
That was very cool.
Yep, that butterfly is not normally on there, but it matches our camp logo and the Morgan's Wonderland logo.
How many engineers had to be involved in making those butterflies possible?
Really?
Because it caused all sorts of error issues. And
that's right, you get
so it
lift.
changed its size numerous times before they finally all agreed that one would be acceptable. Yeah.
Yeah, another reason behind that slower speed, in addition to people just not wanting to go fast because they're scared, is so that if you do have that neck support, or you don't have that strength, we don't want you to get whiplash when you get the bottom and go forward. You know, when you come to a stop, you move forward pretty well. You're completely enclosed in and tight, but your head's still gonna move forward. So we can set it at that slower speed so that you come to a nice, like, peaceful, gentle stop, and you don't have that sudden jolt on your body.
Are you nervous? No, love it. Yeah, this one.
This really could be its own package. Just this. Actually, I think it better with just her. Now I don't want for this thing.
Are y'all ready?
Close out, stand up.
Are you excited? Are you scared? No, I'm ready. I'm scared watching you from here.
As you see, that strap pulls the seat down, so that makes it easier to make a transfer into the seat, or just to get in if you are doing it independently, easier to get in. And then we raise you up so that you're off the ground and you don't have any chance of coming into contact with the ground when you come back down.
There we go. Let's see how long the range is on the mic.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Send them back fast.
Like
11 stories, 110 feet up, and that's from the ground. So you're actually up higher on the hillside than you are at this point. So you're even higher than you would think on that. So this is the stone swing, our giant swing. So what will happen is our campers will be put in a harness, and they'll wear a harness, and then they'll be lifted up to the kind of where those white ropes are. You'll see some carabiners linked together, and that's where they are attached to the swing. It's not your traditional swing in the fact that it's like there's like a little piece of plastic or wood that sits underneath you. No, you're completely enclosed in your harness and attached to the cables.
Right now we're using one of those adaptive harnesses that I was talking about. This one, we are working right now with some other professionals in the industry to actually add a similar type of head restraint or stability to it, similar to that on the zip line. But this one is going to kind of lean him back like he's in a bucket seat, and if someone really had no core support, this is a great option for them. We have another system in place here, the 4-to-1 system, which we can use on a climb wall as well for the heavily assisted climbs. This allows us to get the camper from their chair straight onto the swing without having to get them upstairs or up a ladder or anything like that. They can come up in their chair, park underneath, come up, and then we'll bring them back down right into their chair. Never have to do any difficult transfers or anything like that. This is not the only way to run this. We can also, someone in a full body harness can walk up the stairs and can access it that way as well.
So part of what you'll see is they're getting him kind of ready to go and clipped in. This harness, he is harnessed into what looks like a hammock almost. That harness is integrated and built into the seat, the hammock, so that he can be lifted up. When he gets picked up, they're going to pull the pull team over here, which would normally be the rest of your fellow campers and the other people in your cabin. They're going to pull on this pulley system that runs up to that back pole. That's going to pull our camper all the way back up to the pole, and then there's a release that we can pull, and that'll release the camper to swing back and forth, which is going to come right towards y'all. Okay. The other way we can do it, if the camper would like, and we encourage them to do everything, encourage as much independence as possible, is we can take a rope and they can hold themselves, so they have the ability to release themselves when they're ready. So we'll pull them up, and then they can take that time and figure out when they're perfectly ready. They don't have to rely on us to just pull it and let them swing. They can release themselves and be completely independent in that aspect.
Devin.
Those cords are the other part is they have to hoist them up, so they'll put
All right, Devin.
Oh, no, we were applauding. No.
It's okay. No. Okay.
We're ready.
Here he goes. Here he goes. Here he goes.
Clearly, David.
Oh my word. Okay, stop.
Very cool. Well done, Deb.
Way to go, Deb.
That's fine.
Hey, Janice.
Yeah, let's go.
Like more than 5 people.
Sarah, why don't you tell us about the lodging here?
Perfect. So here at camp we have 2 different styles of cabins. We have our bear cabins, which are the larger cabins, and then our Alamo cabins, which are the smaller ones. There's 10 of each, and they're kind of split among these 2 sides. We're going to let you kind of venture into these 2 in a minute, but a quick overview of them. The larger cabins have a total of 32 beds in them, and the smaller cabins have a total of 19 beds. You'll see when you walk in that the main sleeping area has custom-built bunk beds. We did that really intentionally. We wanted to make sure that if somebody was in a chair and they were working on self-transferring, or if somebody was transferring them from a chair to a bed, that there was ample clearance from the bottom bunk to the top bunk. So, you know, minimize concussions and that kind of thing. But also the beds are lower so that it's easier to self-transfer out of a chair. Both the large and the small cabins have a full-size washer and dryer in them, as well as a fridge with ice maker and water. Although we do provide all the meals when people are at camp, we know it's important for a lot of our campers to have their own specific snacks that they bring from home so they can store those in here.
And air conditioned.
Oh yeah, air conditioned, Wi-Fi, all the goods.
Yeah, this is glamping, people. This is not camping.
This is kind of camping. Yeah, so feel free to walk in Alamo 10 or in Bear 10. Look around and you'll see in the back there are 3 toilet stalls, 3 shower stalls, and a bathtub in each one. So feel free.
Feel that AC? Oh, yes. Wow, air conditioning nice. Cold. Come on in.
Thank you, ma'am.
You're welcome. Oh, wow. It feels good in here, really relaxed. Yes.
Right here.
No, we're good. Pretty good. Yeah. Yeah, well, you know, like regular bunk bed beds.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you can do your own laundry.
Mm-hmm.
You want to look at the shower?
Yeah.
You have your own fire alarm button.
Oh, wow. Look at that.
It's got a fold down seat.
So cool.
You got another one over here?
Tub.
I think they're all.
Another rolling shower. I guess there's 2 rolling showers and 2 tubs.
Oh, that's cool.
Wow. So neat.
And they're all handicapped bathrooms?
Mm-hmm.
Toilets?
Somebody look at the toilet.
I guess there's the stall is big enough for it to.
To go do what you need to do.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of which.
Yeah.
Girl, could you slide onto one of those?
Onto a seat. That one I probably could.
Ooh, I did it last time. But you were able to. Just a little next door.
By the way, you know, the door push button, door openers out here, we have like 175 of them in the entire camp.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. They're every, I mean, you can see them everywhere.
On just about every door.
They're about every door. Yeah.
And in the smaller cabin, imagine it's this. It doesn't have the, and it has refrigerator, washer and dryer, but also, since it's not as many beds, there's a little room that's on the side that has a private room that has 3 beds, a bunk bed and a single bed. So like if it's parent, like on family weekend, parents can have their own little room and then the kids can be in here. So I'll walk over with you guys in a minute and show you that one. This is the larger one. I'm sorry?
That's a neat feature.
Yeah, it is. And like she was talking about, for instance, these are lower so that it's easier to transfer it into and you can sit fully up without needing your head.
And the bed is so comfortable.
Right? I know, and you can bring your own linens, or you can, like for family weekends and stuff, or you can purchase, not buy, but rent linens from us.
Oh, cool.
You can do your own laundry, or you can have the camp do your laundry. So those are some of the beautiful features. And there are outlets at every single bunk.
And I like the fire alarm cracker.
Yeah, I'll wake you up on it.
You can like it until it goes off, right?
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, we'll go next door.
Yeah, you want to go
Notice
next door?
everything here is sprinkled, by the way.
Okay, let's go
All our
out
cabins
this
are
way though. I
sprinkled,
think this one might be
which
the
is very
last.
unique for a camp to have sprinkled cabins. But again, we want to make sure that safety was paramount.
Very weird to have air conditioning in your cabins at camp.
I know, I'm cooled off already.
But I can tell you most camps don't have sprinklers.
I didn't know that.
And you have granite countertops, it's just all the little touches.
There's no pressure to do it. If you weren't, you'd
What's
have
that,
to
this
do
is
it.
camping?
Yeah.
This way? Oh, yes, that one. I guess we could have done that in the other one, we just walked right by it. Oh, sorry about that.
Yeah, I'm getting busy listening.
I know, I'm sorry about that. All right, so let's go next door.
You would have to be my grandbaby.
Yes, sir.
Let's just go right next door to the right.
Yes, sir.
Did y'all go in the big one yet?
Yes, we did.
These
are very nice.
Yes. Yes.
Automatic.
Yeah, they're called clears.
I'm just gonna hold it so it doesn't hit anyone.
Thank you.
You are so welcome.
Yeah, right.
This is washing
All right,
down
so
the
this
kitchen
is the
in here.
secret room one that I was talking about. The smaller one, so there's that little secret room. But there's no family room. But you do have still your refrigerator, your washer and dryer. So you can put the kids up here to do a family weekend, and mom and dad can have their own room.
If you climb up, how do you get up?
Yeah, I'm sorry.
You're upstairs.
Oh, okay, that's what I thought.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
And kids can climb.
Oh, I know.
And if they can't climb, then there's the bottom.
I go lots.
You can tell the texture on the wall. It's so pretty.
And the countertops and the granite, and
Yeah.
all of that stuff.
Yeah.
Down in here.
Oh, in here.